Hey everyone's JackelWolf back in the garden again. It is not my garden. If you've been following me on Twitter, you know that I am on vacation this week. But I've had a couple of opportunities to visit a few other places with, gardens and also with chickens. Actually, that episode will be out tomorrow. This episode will probably come out first, but this is, I guess, the Great Green North BC edition. There's gardens to explore and chickens to look after. So we will be going around and just take a little poke through their garden, see what's what, see how it compares to mine. I can tell you already it is way, way better. So it looks like these here look like peas of some sort. They don't have them running up a mesh or a trellis, but you can see they've definitely got a lot of peas in here. There's some nice ones there. Now I don't know what type these are. I imagine they are a pod style pea. Obviously these are probably right at the end of their life cycle. BC's a little bit further ahead. I'm not even too sure. I'm going to have to Google what zone this is. Hopefully that wind's not hurting the microphone. Not hurting the microphone. Hopefully the wind's not getting picked up too badly on the microphone. So it looks like there's some more peas here. This is sort of like a little trellis that they had. It doesn't look like these peas took to them very well. You can see they've kind of fallen off. I got a feeling they're a little bit at the end of their life cycle, but I know probably by the time I get back to mine, they might be in that similar boat. I'm going to say this here is rhubarb. I'm actually very surprised because it could just be a fairly new planting. Rhubarb is almost like a weed in my experience. Once it starts growing, it's really, really tough to keep it down. So this looks like some sort of red lettuce. I don't know, that's not me in the shade there. Here's a little bit. This one here looks like it's starting to bolt a little bit. There's another one at the back. There's a couple other plants in here. I don't know what that is. It's got a very fern look to it. Not too sure. BC is a very different growing environment than Alberta. So it'll be really, really interesting to see what sort of different things they've got here. There's some, actually that looks like another sort of leaf lettuce in the background, or in the back there. That one there's bolting as well. But there's still some really nice ones out and about. You got some sunflowers here. Some of these looks like they are about to go to seed, which is, I guess, the main reason to grow sunflowers. It looks like probably about 2 varieties, maybe. It's tough to say. No, actually, that guy's got. They're all on that same one there, so they could get quite a few seeds from here. We've tried growing sunflowers, haven't had much success in that. Got a little bit of dill over here. It's kind of going in and out of focus on the camera, but I don't know. It's really, really nice. I've grown dill before. Grows well with tomatoes. Good for if you're planning on doing any sort of canning on anything. Got something else in here. I don't know. Well, can't tell what that is. Now this looks like a sage plant. Can't really tell. Just from the looks of it, similar to the one that I've got at my place. I don't think I've actually shown it on camera before. There's a little spider in there. I don't know if you can see him. Little daddy long legs style spider. Yeah, I got a feeling this is some sort of sage. There's so many different types out there. So carrots, much better shape than mine. It looks like they've been in here digging out quite a few. I'm sure this whole area here was carrots at one point. They've still got quite a few really big ones left. It does look like they might have some yellow ones, maybe a white type of carrot. These guys in here look a little purplish. There's a little bit of a, I don't know, a mutant one. Maybe he hit a rock or his root split off. But he's kind of hovering around the top of the of the ground there. That was very, very interesting. You can pull some carrots and have some really, really interesting root shapes, depending on what they run into underneath the ground. I've got a feeling these here are some more potatoes. They might be a different variety. The leaves look very similar, but they're slightly different color. It looks like these ones here are dying back a bit as well. You can see this guy in here is kind of maybe not dead yet, but he is dying back for sure, which is a good sign. You want your potatoes to die back. That means the tubers in the ground are sort of hardening off, and they will store better if you give them a little bit of a hardening off time in the ground once the tops have all died back. So now in here, this here, I think this is chamomile. It's something we've looked at trying to grow. We actually like a chamomile tea, but it's not something we've had a easy time finding in Alberta. It's something we've always talked about doing and just never really put that much effort into finding it. But I got a feeling that that's chamomile. It looks like it's either been harvested, all the heads have been harvested already, or it's just sort of at the end of its life cycle and it's about to go into the heads are all about to start seeding. So got a big plant in here in the middle of the garden. I do not know what it is. It looks like it's a little bit vining. Let's see here. This is the pathway up. Yeah, I do not know. It's kind of got... Oh, you know what? This is similar to the one we saw over on the other side. It's got the similar sort of flower heads on them. I do not know what they are. It'll be interesting to kind of do a little bit of research and try to figure out what some of these things are. So some raspberry bushes. Now it looks like these ones are at the end of their season. There are still quite a few on here though. Some that haven't ripened yet. So we're going to have to come in here, let Creative Kitty 09 do a little bit of a harvest. There's a couple that look like they are ready. Now this is way, way bigger raspberry patch than the one I've got in my garden. Oh, you can actually smell the raspberry on the air there. That is really nice. I want to say that this is fennel. It looks very, very similar to dill, but the flowers on it look a little bit whiter. The few that are left, a lot of these have already gone to their seed pods. Now this would be a lavender plant. This is absolutely massive. We've got one outside of the front of our house that actually came back this year. We planted it last year. It's certainly, it's nowhere near this size, that's for sure. I would love for our plant to grow this big. But I've seen an awful lot of lavender in BC. So I'm not surprised to find it here in the garden. You can see there's a bunch of bees floating around here. Get some garden helper videos. Where'd he go? There he is. Looks like they are also growing some pumpkins. Some sort of gourd in any case. There's so many different ones and a lot of them look very, very similar. Some more garden friends. Now I do not know what these are. They're definitely got a flower on them. But I don't know if it's going to be I don't know if this is just a flowering bush to attract bees, or if it's something that I don't know, it might have some sort of produce attached to it. Bean plants, I don't know if you can see them, but there are an absolute ton of beans on there. It's very, very dark on the camera. I might have to try to get a better picture on the other side. Now they've just planted stakes in the ground, and the bean plants are just running straight up, like just big, huge branches. Like that's not the thickness of the beanstalk. That's just the beanstalk sort of climbing up a giant stick. It's actually a good idea. It might be something I want to try in my garden next year. if I do a climbing bee. That probably would work with the peas as well. Some more potatoes in here by the looks of it. These guys here are also dying back. It looks like they've thrown straw down as well, so similar ideas. It doesn't look like they're using as much straw, so they're just using it as a mulch to keep the water in, I think. So these here would probably be a bush bean. They are very low to the ground, quite a few beans on them. Sort of contrast to the pole beans. You got your highs and your lows here. But yeah, no, that they are doing really well, way better than my bush beans are at this moment anyways, though I certainly don't have the space. Well, what do we got over here? What are you? Try not to scare you off. You kind of look like a moth. Of some sort. I do not know what you are. I do not know if you are good or if you are bad. But it's like you got two different, unless there's two moths. No? I do not know what you, oh. It's like they got two sets of wings. Oh, I guess I should keep that, come on, focus. Oh, and he's gone. But we got a little bit better view of the beans. These are some massive beans. Like, you know, that's the entire size of my palm there and my fingers. So really, really nice. Let's see if we can't, there we go. There's a better focus on that. Absolutely ton of beans on here. Holy cow, there's some even bigger ones down there. Watch my step. Where is that guy? Right here. Look at that. Like, that's even, you know, that's even down, you know, past my wrist, or up to my wrist there. So, don't know. So there's a little guy right here. I don't know what type of a melon that is. I'm going to call it a melon. It could be a gourd as well. Oh, they have a little sign in here. It's a squash. Baby blue Hubbard squash. That's very interesting. Oh, wow. There was just an absolute ton of bees. Oh, they're fighting in there. Fighting with a wasp, I think. I don't know if you're seeing any of that. Going after the pollen in there. Lots of different lettuces. I am not, I mean, there's like a red lettuce and just a regular, I'm going to say that's like an iceberg lettuce. So tomato plants, looks like they've got some slicing tomato in here. They got some black tomatoes, black or a purple. Sometimes they call them one thing or another. Because there is a little bit of a purplish tinge to that. I don't know. Let's see if I can't. There we go. There's definitely a little bit of a purplish hue to it. So it could be called. Oh. Yeah, it could be called a black. Could be called a purple. Not too sure. These guys here, I actually grew these one year from seeds that I collected from a tomato that I bought, one of these tomatoes that I bought in BC the year before. I can't remember what they were called. They were pretty good. They did pretty well, I think, in my greenhouse. I don't think I would have been able to grow them anywhere else, but they are definitely a nice tomato. They got some cherry tomatoes here. Actually, even the purples kind of look, I'm going to call them a purple. I think in this light they look very, very purplish. I think they're a type of cherry tomato as well. Those could be like a Roma paste style tomato in the background there. They just got that, that ovalish shape to them. Now, these are something I am not very familiar with. I believe that they are called bull thistles. We were talking about them last night, and you can kind of see that is the closed pod. And I don't know if these are really tall. I don't know if that with the sun there or not. You can kind of see the little purple fronds as it's opened up. I don't know what they are. I mean, they kind of look like an artichoke, but I don't think that you'd use them in the same way. But I'm assuming there's something useful about them. Let's see if I can get... That one's got a little bit of a... Nope, right there. A little bit of a smaller bloom on it. Maybe that guy. That one looks good on this camera right here. It's always tough to tell what it's going to look like in the final editing stage, but yeah, no, I have no idea, but they are super, super interesting. This looks like a peach tree. Yeah, look at that. Those are actually looking really nice. I don't know, they're pretty firm right now. I don't know how you judge when to pick pick a peach from them, but very nice. Something I've never seen in real life anyways is a peach tree. So I got a feeling that these here might be blueberries. It seems to be a really tall blueberry bush. I'm more familiar with blueberries being a shorter style bush. So that's going to be it for this one, guys. This has been the BC edition of the Great Green North. Sort of poking around somebody else's garden, but it was very, very interesting. It's the sort of garden I would love to have if I had the space and the time to put into it properly. But all things being equal, it has been a lot of fun, you know, poking around somebody else's garden and seeing some of the different things, because there's, like I said, there's probably about half of the stuff in here that I recognize. I would have a tough time pulling weeds in here because there's stuff in here that's probably I would think of as a weed that they seem to be growing. Yeah, so that's going to be it. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe. You can also follow me on Twitter at JackelWolf, and I will see you guys next time. Goodbye. Oh, wow. There was just an absolute ton of bees. Oh, they're fighting in there. Fighting with a wasp, I think. I don't know if you're seeing any of that.